quickly out of the gate, lead the Heat 6-0. Marvin Matt, marvelous.
This is Chapman looking for Mourning inside. Walt Williams now gets it into Mourning. 7 on the shot clock. The fadeaway jumper, Mourning good. And it took the Chicago Bulls 3.5 minutes to get their first field goal.
Well, the Bulls with a 6-2 lead, 4 minutes gone by in this first quarter. A shaky start by the Miami Heat. And a foul is called. Rex Chapman picks it up. Well, game 1 on Friday night here in Chicago was a night of much animosity. A game that saw 8 technical fouls called, 6 against Miami, 3 ejections, and the Heat very upset about the officiating. Michael Jordan able to split his way, and the Bulls are up now 8-2 for Jordan. His second field goal. He's 2 of 3. Mourning double team. Alonzo Mourning trying to turn it from his performance in game number 1 and drew the foul.
Well, one of the Miami Heat defensive rules is no layups, and that includes the Jordan rules here as the seas open up for Michael Jordan as Alonzo Mourning was busy trying to get around on Luke Longley, the easy lay-in for Michael.
And a quick second foul on Longley. Let's get back to Bob Costas.
All right, Marv, interesting.
And we welcome you to the United Center in Chicago with 7.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and the Bulls leading the Heat by the score of 8-2. Kurt Thomas, as you join us, committing the foul. Michael Jordan hitting 2 of his first 3. He has 4 points. Alonzo Mourning, who had the lackluster game here on Friday night in the Heat loss to the Bulls, 0 for 4 at the foul line. Tony Kukoc once again in the starting lineup. Here's Kukoc. Tony Kukoc has had great success this season against the Miami Heat, and it continues in the playoffs. Pat Riley calling for time. So the good start by the Bulls. They lead 10-2 with 5 minutes gone by.
Scottie Pippen getting it into the lane, drawing the defense, and finding Tony Kukoc as the wing players for the Bulls too much.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite. With a great taste of an ice-cold Miller Lite, life is good. By Rogaine, the only product medically proven to regrow hair for men and women. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. You live life, you get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Well, we welcome you back to Chicago, and looking back at game 1 here on Friday night. It was a night of discontent, a game that had 8 technical fouls called, 6 against the Heat, 3 ejections, and the Miami Heat extremely upset about the officiating. Talking about it with Phil Jackson, he feels it is all part of the Pat Riley gamesmanship, and you get the feeling they're trying to get Dennis Rodman excited. Rodman pulls down the rebound. He appears to be the target.
Well, right now, the Miami Heat is having more problems getting any kind of offensive game going. They've been trying to get Mourning going, but when he does get to the free throw line, he is, of course, struggling mightily at 0 for 4.
Tim Hardaway, who had the spectacular first half on Friday night, working against Ron Harper, who helped to shut things down in the second half. Chicago opening up by hitting 5 of their first 9 from the floor. Shot clock down at 3. Hardaway for 3. And back comes Jordan. The lead for Kukoc. And here comes Hardaway running the floor. And Hardaway going all the way. A late decision by Hardaway, looking to give it up. Pippen beating the Heat down the floor. And they get it right back for a 12-4 lead.
Well, Dennis Rodman so alert, whether he gets a defensive rebound or taking it out of the net and inbounding the ball, throwing the long touchdown pass to Scottie Pippen.
Mourning posting up, working against Rodman. Longley sitting down early after picking up 2 fouls. And an illegal defense is called. Bill Oakes, Mike Mathis, and Paul Mahalik are the officials. The illegal defense against the Bulls for the first time. So a new 24 for Miami. The Heat finishing in the number 8 spot, the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference with a record of 42-40. They finished strong in the second half of the season, going 24-17. Chapman for the opening 3. And Kukoc rips it down. Jordan for 3, yes. The Bulls 15, the Heat 4.
And Pat Riley continuing to search for some kind of opening offensively. Not too many teams score well in this building against Chicago.
Rex Chapman, who had an enormous game earlier this season against the Bulls in that upset over Chicago on the part of Miami. Jordan. And the rebound taken by Mourning. Tim Hardaway, a native of Chicago, born and raised here in the Windy City, calling for the travel.
Well, stutter step by Tim Hardaway at the top of the key. Clearly had Scottie Pippen beat, as Hardaway did get away with that extra step in there as he was looked like he was on his way in for an easy hoop. The Bulls have a lot of respect for Hardaway in the open floor, who does so well. Now we got a technical.
Well, you know this officiating crew is not going to mess around. Tim Hardaway, who turned it over 9 times on Friday night, was upset about that traveling call, had something to say. Alonzo Mourning tried to usher him aside, and Bill Oakes hit him with the tee. Michael Jordan converting the technical.
Well, on Tim Hardaway's first move towards referee Billy Oakes, Billy said, no talking. We're not going to deal with any of that today. So the officials want to set the tone right away. They want to be very careful with these two teams. It could be a very volatile situation going by what happened in game 1.
16-6. Chicago with the lead. Kickball is called.
Kicking violation.
So the Bulls get the new 24. The Bulls winning here in game 1, 102-85. The game was tied at the half with 54. Kukoc with his second bucket. But the Bulls not fooling around here at the start. They are up 18-6, 4.5 remaining in the first quarter. Mourning foul. And he was hit by Rodman. Bill Jackson has been very satisfied with the play of Dennis Rodman as one of his backup centers. In fact, likes him at the offensive end because of his excellent passing at the high post. He has said, though, that he wants to go longer with Luke Longley than he did during the regular season, where he went to more of a shuttle system.
Well, he would like to go longer with Luke. A lot of that depends on how much Luke Longley can stay out of foul trouble. Historically, Dennis Rodman does a good job defensively inside, in the post, and Dennis weighs somewhere in the neighborhood of about 220 pounds, and in many cases against the bigger centers, he's giving away maybe 80 to 100 pounds, but he has good leverage, knows how to use his forearm, knows how to use his body, and often baits the offensive center into maybe trying to push too much. Now, Dennis would rather guard a bigger guy inside than he would a perimeter player at this stage of his career. He wants to be close to that bucket for rebounds.
Bill Wennington has come on for Ron Harper. So now Wennington figures to be the matchup against Mourning. The Bulls with an 18-8 lead here at the start. Tyrone Corbin has checked in for the first time for Miami. So the Bulls have Jordan, Pippen, Wennington, Kukoc, and Rodman on the floor. Pippen at a high post against Hardaway. Kukoc. A runner by Tony Kukoc, his third field goal. He has 6, and it's the Bulls 20, the Heat 8. Now Mourning operating against Wennington. Rodman with the box out. Good positioning against Chris Gatling. Kukoc played by Corbin. And again, the mismatch with Pippen going to the fadeaway on Hardaway. Mourning with the rebound. Oh, the steal by Jordan. Good pass. with the rebound. Jordan gives it up and is called for a travel. Try to make the decision in midair, but he came down.
Well, Michael is so dangerous after the opponent gets a rebound. Always looking to step into the passing lane. Gets one here, but challenged inside on this follow-up by Alonzo Mourning. And then usually Michael can stay in the air just a little bit longer. Not able to do it that time before he can make the pass.
Well, I said he tried to make the decision in midair, and he came down. Sometimes you expect that he will not come down. Chapman, Rex Chapman from downtown, and the Bulls now lead 20-11. Here's a lead for Jordan. Michael beating Chapman down low, and the Bulls have doubled up the score. Jordan has 10. He's hit 4 of 7. Also has 3 assists.
Oh, we're seeing an interesting matchup between Pippen and Tim Hardaway. Tim goes by him right there. Foul.
Beautiful move by Hardaway, and that will put him at the free throw line. A timeout is being called by Chicago. Foul committed by Weddington.
And Hardaway guarding Pippen, no hand up, able to easily see Michael Jordan inside as Michael had Chapman on his back.
The usual capacity crowd, better than 21,000 at the United Center. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad. Let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, Marv, I want to just shed a little light on this rivalry thing between the Bulls and the Heat. The rivalry is actually between the Bulls and Pat Riley. While everybody knows that Pat Riley is a master motivator, known to taking players that are a little bit soft and turning them into tough, rugged players, the Bulls feel like he turns these very same players into cheap shot artists, and therein lies the animosity. But the thing that Michael Jordan told me was that not only is Pat Riley a master motivator, but he's a master psychologist, and if he can get you to focus on him rather than the team, he's won that battle. The thing that Michael and the Bulls need to do is just focus on what they've done all season and play their game, and they'll get through this series. Marv?
All right, thank you, Ahmad. 2:46 remaining first quarter. And the Bulls are up now 22-12. Pat Riley, who coached the Los Angeles Lakers to 4 NBA championships, spent the last 4 years as coach of the New York Knicks. And it's strange, Matt, because when he was coach of the Knicks going up against the Bulls, and that developed into even a more heated rivalry than in previous years, you're hearing the same charges being made as Pippen is able to hit from long range. And the same statements are coming from Phil Jackson and Pat Riley as they go back and forth, and their players go back and forth. It's a very similar scenario, except that Riley does not have the kind of team that he had with the Knicks at this point, at least with Miami. It's a revamped ball club, though, that has come a long way.
Well, Pat Riley wants his team to be very physical and very aggressive, but he would vehemently deny that at no time would he ever ask a player to throw any cheap shots. No, they don't want to give up layups. They want to take the hard fouls, but they also want to play good, hard, clean basketball.
Pippen for 3. And the rebound is handled by Corbin. Judd Bushler has come on for the first time for Chicago. Minute 45 left in this first quarter. Rodman with the save, but it's picked off by Chapman. Open shot for Hardaway for 3. Yes. Tim Hardaway from downtown, and then pointing to teammates to get back because Pippen had a notion to break once again.
Well, Scotty, in effect, is the point guard for this team. Michael Jordan handling the ball right now, and so he's out at the top of the floor many times and gambling defensively. And when he doesn't gamble, he heads the other way.
And Weddington hit by Corbin. For Ty Corbin is first.
Well, Dennis Rodman on this rebound trying to get it out to Scottie Pippen at midcourt. Got turned the wrong way, and Tim Hardaway was 5 for 10 in triples in game 1. Gets one here.
Steve Kerr has checked in for the first time. Michael Jordan sitting down with 10 points, 3 assists. Rodman with a red shot opportunity that was blocked by Mourning. 25-16, Bulls with the lead. 1 minute left in this first quarter. Hardaway setting up off the dribble. Looks like he's setting up for the old killer crossover, but a foul is called. It's on Rodman.
Scottie Pippen, one of the best defenders in the league, a perennial member of the all-defensive team, and he's used to guarding other small forwards or at least bigger guards, but in defending a point guard right now, he has to give a lot of room. As Dennis Rodman grabbing on there, and Dennis continues to talk to officials just about after every call. at some point down the line in these playoffs, Dennis and I guess every other player involved in the playoffs is going to have to adjust to the way these games are being officiated. The referees do not want to hear it right now. They just want the players to play and let the referees referee. We had a weird scene the other night in that game one with just double fouls and all that kind of thing and talking after every whistle.
56 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. So the Bulls now lead by 8. Pippen trying to spin. And last touched by the Bulls in front of the Chicago bench, where players were saying, oh, this Hardaway had deflected it out, and perhaps a change of decision as Bill Oakes is waving over Paul Mahalik and Mike Mathis, and they'll huddle up.
Scottie Pippen diving for the loose ball between two Miami Heat players. And as he goes between Hardaway and Corbin, the ball clearly off Tim Hardaway, and Bill Oakes on the baseline had the call pointed in Chicago's direction, but he must have said the other team because everybody went in the other direction, but the Chicago coaching staff saw his signal.
Here is Pippen for three. Again firing from way out. Now Kerr changed his mind on that three-point possibility.
I think Steve was thinking they're looking at the shot clock and saw that it was relatively close, didn't want to force one up in that situation.
And Rodman fouled by Gatling. Will shoot a couple. Dennis Rodman only a 53% free throw shooter, 56 for 106 during the regular season. Phil Jackson telling us he does not put Dennis Rodman in the starting lineup. He did not tonight, did not in game one, because when players are particularly tightly wound as the game is going to start, he's afraid that things could get carried away with Dennis.
And Phil also feels that the rookie Kurt Thomas, who starts at the big forward spot for Miami, is told to agitate Dennis, to get locked up with him, get very physical with him, and try to get him involved in something, because Phil feels that Pat Riley feels that if Dennis goes off, that could disrupt the Chicago Bulls.
And the ovation for Rodman as he converts on the second free throw. Bulls 26 and the Heat 17, and Miami looking to hold for a final shot of the first quarter. Randy Brown on the floor now, the defensive player guarding Tim Hardaway. Down to 5 seconds. Hardaway pitching out. Here's Chapman, the runner. Rex Chapman from Tim Hardaway cuts it to 7. 2 seconds to go. Here's Kerr, and contact is made. Chapman was trying to draw the charge, but a foul with 1 second to go, first quarter.
A poor decision here by Rex Chapman, and a good play by Steve Kerr. He knew he didn't have much going, too far even to fling one, and under 2 seconds to go, just trying to draw a little contact and fall to the floor, which is exactly what Steve did, and he got the benefit of the whistle, and Rex Chapman should have found a way to get out of the way there and avoid contact.
Miami Heat leading the NBA in personal fouls. They average 25 per game, and they also lead the league in disqualifications.
Big foul shooting disparity in game one as the Bulls 25 for 36 from the line to Miami's just 10 for 15 in game one.
A point that we heard quite a bit from Miami Heat officials. Pat Riley certainly emphasizing that. Nice inbound pass, allowing Hardaway to fire.
And a very long 1 second, and Phil Jackson is up, looking at the scorekeeper, saying that's the longest 1 second I've ever seen.
So after one, here at the United Center, the Chicago Bulls getting off to the fast start, sparked by Michael Jordan, and they lead 28-19. We'll be back with more from Chicago in a moment. Although it was a quiet first quarter here in Chicago, we've been talking about the aggressive play of the Miami Heat. We asked Michael Jordan, how does he view the aggressive style of Miami?
It's a challenge mentally to maintain a certain focus about the game and to distract little starts away from the game to more personal feelings and confrontations. We got some very vulnerable players who could fall prey to that, you know, and Pat knows it, as well as he has some same players that can fall prey to some of the things that Dennis does. I mean, but calm heads is going to determine the outcome of the game, and we're trying to maintain calm heads and maintain a certain focus so that those tactics doesn't affect what we are trying to do as a team. That's win the game.
Well, Michael Jordan is not really affected by any of that. He's been through it many times before. He had a very quiet 35 points in Game 1 through all that turmoil.
Jordan is back on the floor with the second quarter getting underway, and Tony Kukoc continuing the hot shooting, 4 of 6. He has 8 points, the Bulls 30, and the Heat 19. Chapman and Hardaway in the backcourt, Mourning with Gatling and Williams up front. Mourning had it knocked away, picked up by Wennington.
Well, Steve Kerr, terrific defensive job there, just running through the lane and stuck out his hand just to strip the ball from Alonzo Mourning, who did not protect it very well.
Wennington providing the pick. They double up on Jordan. And Jordan back to the step. And his foul. Comes up hobbling a bit. Michael Jordan using the screen and then accelerating the foul committed by Mourning.
Well, this is when Michael knows that there is going to be some kind of contact. Generally, anytime he breaks the defense down, gets into the lane, gets towards the basket, somebody's either going to try to take his shot or step up and take the body. Mourning was going after the ball there, but it came down on the back of Michael's arm.
Jordan, an 83% free throw shooter during the regular season. Rex Chapman sits down, leads with 7 points, 2 personal fouls, and replaced by Tony Smith, 6-year man out of Marquette. Spent 5 years with the Los Angeles Lakers, brief time with the Phoenix Suns. The Bulls 32 and the Heat 19. Hardaway now guarded by Jordan. Coming up short. He claims he took a hit from Kukoc.
But when Walt Williams doesn't get off making perimeter jump shots, usually the rest of his game fades as well. He's not a really strong defender to begin with, but Pat Riley wants to get him some open shots to get him going.
And we have seen in recent weeks that if he does not get off quickly, we'll pull him. We'll sit him down for a while and then bring him back later. Foul on Wennington, his second.
It's interesting, the Chicago defense is really very much concerned with Steve Chapman, who hurt him in that one game when he scored 39 points. Rex Chapman, I'm sorry. 39 points with the 9 out of 10 three-pointers. Concerned about him and also concerned about Walt Williams from the perimeter. They know Alonzo Mourning, if he's on his game at all, is going to do a certain amount of damage. And of course, we're very much worried about Tim Hardaway and his penetration.
Offensive foul on Mourning. Offensive fouls getting Alonzo in trouble on Friday night. He fouled out, and 3 of the 6 were offensive calls.
Well, the Chicago Bulls know that Alonzo Mourning likes to make that hard move into the lane, and they want to get their body there. But when he picks up those cheap fouls on screen downs, on pick and rolls, they're the kind of fouls you hate to give up because Alonzo Mourning is going to be involved so much in the trenches where all the physical play occurs.
And Matt, if Miami is going to pull any surprises, any stunning upsets as Jordan extends to a 15-point lead, they must get top-flight play from Alonzo Mourning, and it has not been the case thus far. Hardaway. Rebound swept by Gatling, and he's hit from behind by Kerr. The basket will not count. Chris Gatling, who came over in one of several deals at midseason. Gatling spent 4 years with Golden State. Came to Miami along with Hardaway and the deal for Kevin Willis and Bimbo Coles. Okay. A change on that foul. Originally, it was called on Rodman, who argued the call. It is Kerr, not Rodman. Actually, it was clearly Kerr. Bulls 34 and the Heat 19.
NBC is brought to you by O'Doul's. Only 70 calories and only from Anheuser-Busch. Just say, give me an O. By Oldsmobile. And by MasterCard. MasterCard, it's smart money.
Dennis Rodman about to challenge the shot and then get rebound position. Gatling is actually going to come over his back, but keep your eye on Steve Kerr coming in from behind to try to strip the ball from Chris Gatling. Should have been an offensive foul on Gatling to begin with, but clearly the hack by Steve Kerr.
And for Steve Kerr, his first foul. Good sign for the Bulls. 13 field goals, and they picked up 11 assists on the 13 field goals. 13 of 24 from the field, 54%, but they're getting the good ball movement.
And Miami Heat's offense struggling mightily in the opening minutes of each quarter. And that's normally the way the Chicago Bulls defense comes out. They want to come out and establish something to start the game. They've done it here in the second quarter. And when they really like to turn it up a notch or two is in that third quarter. If they catch a team not ready, that's generally when they can take control of the game.
So Dennis Rodman continuing his bonding with Mike Mathis, one of the officials. So Gatling hits 1 of 2, and it's the Bulls 34 and the Heat 20. Miami looking to tie the series at 1, while Chicago looking to take a 2-0 lead with the series shifting to Miami. Shot clock at 5. Good coach for Pippen. They swing it. Kerr for 3. Well, Steve Kerr has finished second in three-point shooting percentage behind Tim Legler of the Bullets. Able to hit on his first 3. Now Gatling works his way in. Chris Gatling so good around the basket. Last couple of years among the leaders in field goal percentage. The Bulls 37 and the Heat 22. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad from Chicago. Jordan to the and the foul. Tony Smith, who is a good defender, called for the foul.
Well, even the best defenders have their problems with Michael Jordan in the post, as Michael doing a good job of keeping Smith on his back, backing in, and what has become Michael Jordan's signature move from both baselines, that pound and jump and fade away, and he just feels so comfortable taking that shot.
So Jordan with 17, and the Bulls have an 18-point margin. Here's the rookie Thomas, got bottled up. Bad play, stripped by Pippen. Leading Jordan, and he'll go to the line.
Well, Miami Heat are really having a problem. The new team that they have since the trade on it, very successful at the end of the season, going 17-11. Actually, you kind of project that out. This is a team that would have won 50-51 games, theoretically. They've probably been the 3rd or 4th seed. And they have to run because Tim Hardaway is a good open court player. But right now, the Miami Heat offense is really out of sync. They're taking bad shots now. And when you do that against the Chicago Bulls anywhere, but in particular here at the United Center, it's going to turn into a good scoring opportunity at the other end.
You think they would have gone up to 3rd or 4th seed? Well, this club all the way through the season.
If you project out 17-11, that's 50-51 wins.
But it doesn't work like that.
No, of course not. With injuries.
But it sounds good.
But Pat Riley, with this particular team, he could still do a lot of the things he likes to do defensively, but they had offensive capability. Once Tim Hardaway came, as far as fast breaks, and looking up the floor, getting wing people to run, and finding perimeter shooters.
Sasha Danilovic has checked in for the first time. Pat Riley looking for some offense. He's made it back from wrist surgery. This is Danilovic, who can shoot, facing a double team. Now Smith for 3. Tony Smith from downtown, and the Bulls now lead 41-25. Luke Longley is back. Sat down after picking up 2 fouls in the early going. Sweeping in. And that call being applauded by the Miami bench. Offensive foul on Pippen as Danilovic went down.
Well, somebody did not talk and help out Sasha Danilovich, or they did, or he didn't understand the language at this particular time. But Luke Longley stepping up and not giving Sasha any room at all. And Sasha trying to figure out where he is exactly as Luke Longley, and he knows this deal very well, getting into early foul trouble. And that's another situation where Phil Jackson very upset with the pick that Luke tried to set. He doesn't mind if Luke gets him around the basket, being aggressive, but not setting picks out on the floor.
Correction on the foul was Longley, which sends him to the bench with his third. Nice move by Chapman. Rex Chapman back on the floor. He has 9 points, and it's Chicago by 14. And Jordan was held. Foul committed by Smith. And that is team foul number 4 on the Heat.
Well, Rex Chapman getting the screen from Gatling and Tony Kukoc, whose job there is to show out and cut off that drive to the basket. Not a good job at all, helping Steve Kerr.
And a reach-in foul is called. So a host of whistles in the second quarter. That's 3 on Smith. Earlier here on NBC, Orlando knocking off Detroit 92-77. The Magic leading that series 2 games to zip. Shaquille O'Neal, 29 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. Allen Houston leading the way for the Pistons with 23. Game 3 Tuesday in Auburn Hills. And San Antonio defeated Phoenix 110-105. Spurs are up 2-0. David Robinson, 40 points, 21 rebounds.
Was that a soft 40 and 21?
Charles Barkley, 30 points, 19 rebounds. They'll meet in Game 3 on Wednesday in Phoenix. The Bulls 43 and the Heat 27. We are early second quarter. They surround Mourning. Smith the 3. So Smith with the open shots, able to take advantage of the double and triple team on Alonzo Mourning. He's hit 2 3-pointers, and it cuts it to a 13-point Chicago lead. And a loose ball foul call. Mike Mathis saying stay right here. Timeout is being taken. Foul on Danilovich. 6:51 remaining second quarter.
Times green and always wild.
This is my life besides the NBA.
Stone Phillips one-on-one with Dennis Rodman. Dateline Tuesday.
Coming into tonight's game, in fact, coming into this series, the Bulls have been critical of Miami's style of play, and we asked Pat Riley for his reaction.
Our style of play was very competitive. I mean, as I mentioned, the perception and the baggage that I carry from New York and the alleged style of defense that they think that I'm teaching with those players is just something that basically they have in their mind. They expected something like that prior to the playoffs. They've been talking about it all week, and so that's become part of this whole thing. And, you know, so I only get asked questions. If nobody asks me those questions, I won't give them those answers.
You know, because of Pat Riley's enormous success over the years, I think a lot of people think that Pat tries to control every little situation. Yes, he likes to be in control, but he realizes it's the type of players that he has, and that's how he's going to have to play. And that's really what he's done twice this season. He has really had 2 different teams.
Batted to the front court by Hoffer. 3-on-1, and Pippen with a gorgeous move. Scottie Pippen with a show-the-ball move, doing it at his hip, going at Rex Chapman. The Bulls lead by 15, halfway through the second quarter. Here is Smith, who's feeling it. Rebounded by Pippen. Scottie Pippen looking very fresh here this evening. The legs seem to be in excellent shape. He's been bothered by an assortment of injuries. Jordan passing on the 3, and that hits from 2-point range. 20 for Jordan. Bulls 47, and the Heat 30. 20-second timeout called by Pat Riley.
Well, Scottie Pippen, outstanding in the open floor and a very unselfish player. Generally likes to make the pass to the open man, but on this tip and steal, Scottie Pippen out-racing teammate Ron Harper wanted to make that pass, but thought better of it and just said, hey, I'm going to finish off the play myself, and if I miss it, my teammate Tony Kukoc will follow it on the other side of the floor. And Michael Jordan, knowing exactly where that three-point line is, stepping back, drawing the defender, Sasha Danilovic, and then beating him off the dribble. I think Scottie Pippen thought he was open.
Yes. Begging for the basketball. John Sally checking in for the Bulls for the first time. There is John, who was signed to a series of 10-day contracts. Then the decision was made to add him to the playoff roster. The Bulls 17 of 30, 57% shooting against a Miami team that led the NBA in holding the opposition field goal percentage. Milovic coming up short. And the outside official, Mike Mathis, with the call, a pushing foul against Miami. It's on Mourning. That is his third. So once again, Mourning in foul trouble. Played only 21 minutes in game one because of the foul difficulty.
Well, a number of reasons why John Sally and James Edwards, former Detroit Pistons and former NBA champions, put on this roster. They know how to play big people inside, and to some degree will get the respect of the officials that maybe the young players like Dickie Simpkins and Jason Caffey would not. And John Sally, who is more of a big, tall, lanky forward, but he's another defensive player that plays against the bigger, stronger people inside. And of course, he knows Alonzo Mourning very well from the Pat Riley training camp this year in Miami as he started the season with the Heat.
Conversation between Mourning and Jordan. John Sally hitting 1 of 2, and the Bulls by 18 points, 5.5 remaining in this first half. Danilovic for three. And Mourning and Harper came together. Loose ball foul. It is on Sally.
Sasha Danilovic really struggling with his shot. Got off to a good start in the beginning of the season for Miami. Not only shot the ball well, but did a lot of other things well. A lot of people were surprised by it. Then the wrist injury, which has kept him out much of the season.
And Sasha in there to shoot. That's what Pat Riley wants him to do, and he hits the three. He is a native of Bosnia. He will play for Yugoslavia at the Olympics in Atlanta this summer. In fact, he will team with Vlade Divac of the Los Angeles Lakers on the Yugoslavian squad. And Kukoc for three. Just under 5 minutes to go. Close to a backcourt violation. Pippen thought Smith stepped into the backcourt. And Kaplan is called for steps.
Alonzo Mourning still in the game with 3 personal fouls as Michael Jordan out-quicked him to get inside. And a very shaky situation there. You would never want to see your big guy commit a foul in that situation, trying to keep the smaller Michael Jordan out of the lane, which is not that easy to do.
And over the game and a half of the series, Mourning with only 14 points and 9 fouls. Not a good ratio. Open shot for Pippen. Scottie Pippen has 10 points, along with 5 assists, 4 rebounds, and the Bulls lead by 18. Mourning battling for position with Sally. Here comes Kukoc on a double. Gatling fumbled the pass, then forced it. He was surrounded, but tried the reverse. Now Kukoc setting up off the dribble. They want Kukoc to get it. Looking to pick up a fourth on Mourning. Shot clock go running down now, and Harper not able to hit. The tip missed by Pippen, and Pippen gets another possession.
Well, Scottie Pippen's body is alive at both ends of the floor. He's moving very quickly.
Michael Jordan hitting from downtown. 23 for Jordan. And the celebration continues here in Chicago. Timeout taken by Miami. The Bulls 54 and the Heat 33 with 3:28 left in the first half.
Well, Michael Jordan left all alone on the good ball movement by the Chicago Bulls as the wing players for Chicago just too talented, too quick, too much for Miami.
.328 remaining in the second quarter. Chicago, the big leader, Jay Leno, and Tonight Show band leader, Kevin Eubanks. Jay in Chicago all week as the Tonight Show visits the Windy City. Scheduled to join Jay tomorrow night, Scottie Pippen, Arsenio Hall, and the musical group Chicago, appropriately enough. Jay begins a week here in Chicago. That'll be every night this week after your late local news here on NBC. How's that for a subtle promo? Gatling not able to hit, rebounded by Sally.
You know, Mark, Jay is not only very funny, but I understand he even writes some of his own material.
No kidding. You know, I admire that. Rare miss for Kukoc. And deflected out, last touch by Chicago. But as you know, some of the funniest people in America sometimes need help from writers. In fact, I've been considering adding Jay to the staff.
There's room?
Oh, absolutely. Alonzo Mourning will sit down, replaced by the rookie from Texas, Christian Kurt Thomas.
Actually, Pat Riley gambled for a couple of minutes there extra after Alonzo Mourning picked up his third personal foul. I think Pat is just trying some way to get Alonzo going. He can't really worry about foul situations when you're down by 21, but because Alonzo Mourning is struggling big time.
Bad stat line, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 of 6 at the free throw line. Only 3 rebounds for Mourning. Jordan got the step and drew the foul. Michael spending much time at the free throw line. That is number 3 committed by Chapman.
Well, ever since that game when Rex Chapman had the 39 points and there was some words between Michael and Rex, they have been having their battles. It's a very difficult matchup for Rex Chapman, not only in the quickness department, but the strength department as well. And hey, you got to admire Michael Jordan in the sense that so much talk about how physical the play is supposed to be anytime he drives into the lane. He has made more of a conscious effort, I think, in this game to drop his head, drive the lane, and look for the contact. He is definitely the attacker.
Now Chapman sitting down, replaced by Corbin. Rex Chapman had a career-high 39 against Miami, against Chicago in that upset on the part of the Heat. February 23rd, hit 9 of 10 from downtown in that game. For Rex Chapman, it's his first ever playoff appearance, and this is 8th season out of Kentucky. Jordan with the spin on Corbin, and again heads to the line. Michael Jordan setting up on the dribble, now holding his right side. Corbin committing the foul, the second.
And Michael definitely shaken up here, trying to gather himself, and the Bulls will take a 20-second timeout.
Bulls trainer Chip Schaefer out. Take a look. 2:39 remaining in this first half, and the Bulls are up 55-33. Michael Jordan, 8 of 13 from the field. He's hit 2 3-pointers, 6 of 8 from the line. He has scored 14 of his 24 in the second quarter.
Mentioning how much Michael wants to get to the basket, not afraid to draw the contact. Came down a little bit funny on the landing there on that right side, but he also aware that Alonzo Mourning on the bench right now, the only real shot block threat for Miami, so why not take it to the basket and look for the layup or the foul?
Big first half for Jordan, 24 points, the record most points in a half in the playoffs, held by Sleepy Floyd. Did it for Golden State. He had 39 against the Lakers back in May of '87. Charles Barkley had 38 for Phoenix in a game at Golden State in May of '94. So Jordan here with 25 points in the first half.
You can see the pain on Michael's face right now. Randy Brown waiting at the scores table to check in. And taking a delay of game. A smart move there by the Bulls. Dennis Rodman taking the delay of game to, I guess, no, they can't make the substitution. They're going to have to either take a foul or wait for the next stoppage.
All right, let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, on that last drive, when Michael Jordan came down on the drive, he twisted his back. As you can see, he's in a lot of pain. And I think he hurt it a little bit earlier in this game when he sort of winched a little bit. But last time he really took a blow. He's going to go to the locker room and get checked out. I'll stay on top of that and get back to you with it. Marv?
Thanks, Ahmad. Tony Kukoc committed the foul on purpose to stop play to get Jordan off the floor. You can see the pain that he is suffering. And as Ahmad mentioned, he's headed back to the locker room. So Brown has come on. Here's Danovich. And the Bulls now lead 57-35 with 2:20 to go in the first half. Michael Jordan with 26 points in this first half. Brown being played by Hardaway. Pippen with 6 on the 24. 3-second violation called. Rodman in the lane. He thought Pippen would release the shot.
Well, Dennis is always around that lane anyway. It was funny to watch the referee Mike Mathis try to put up the 9 and the 1. It took him about 3 times to get all the numbers up.
Now Danovich guarded by Hopper, who is a very fine defensive player. Goes to the spin, and doing so called for the travel. Looking on the rusty side. As you mentioned earlier, he's back from wrist surgery. Appeared in only 19 games for Miami. And Michael making his way back to the Bulls locker room. That's the trainer, Chip Schaefer, right behind him. Minute and a half left in this first half. Shot clock down to 3. On target. And we get a technical foul on Dennis Rodman. The indication from Bill Oakes that he used his elbow. That was kind of away from the play. Throwing an elbow. We'll get a look at it in a moment. First, Danovich shooting the technical. So the Bulls now lead 59-36.
Well, of course, the officials have been watching Dennis Rodman very closely ever since the suspension for the headbutt on referee Ted Bernhardt. And Dennis continues to get his share of technicals, either by the clapping routine, maybe showing up some officials, and plays like that.
Rodman with the rebound and then deflected away by Thomas. Coming up on a minute remaining in this first half. And now the foul called away from the ball. Kurt Thomas called for his second foul.
Dennis Rodman trying to get position underneath the basket as the shot goes up from the corner. And as he always does, tries to push his man underneath the basket, and then just a little swipe with the left arm. Not a high elbow, not over the shoulder area, or not up in the head area of the opposing player, but just a little bit of a swipe. But you could tell that the officials came in here with a mindset today to keep things under control as far as all the talking that's going on and as far as whatever physical play may develop.
Rodman is 2 of 4 at the line. 1 minute left, first half, and the Bulls are up 60-36. Well, Pippen thought he had a tie-up, but a foul call. Scottie Pippen picks up the foul. And now Judd Bushler will check back in.
Tim Hardaway so low to the ground, able normally to control that dribble, but when you're trying to do it around quick hands people like a Randy Brown and a Scottie Pippen, even difficult for Tim Hardaway.
You can hear the noisemakers going behind the Miami basket in an effort to bother Hardaway. This is all part of a local promotion distributing. The fine-looking noisemaker, Matt. I know you want to get your own for home use.
Reminiscent of last year's pinwheel controversy in Indiana and Orlando.
So the Bulls now lead 60-37. And Bill Oakes pointing at Scottie Pippen. Is there a problem? Perhaps a cut?
Blood on Scottie Pippen's shorts. So he will have to go to the bench and get a new pair as Ron Harper will check in.
I would assume that the cut occurred when he went down looking for that tie-up when he was called for the foul right here.
Scottie Pippen knocking that ball loose. And really just, you don't know when that blood occurred, but it's actually on his knee. Skinned his knee and then rubbed it against his shorts in some fashion.
So the Bulls are up by 23 points. Looking to make it a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 series. Kukoc. Rebounded by Harper. Half-minute left, first half. Kerr firing for three. And Gatling rebounds. Foul committed by the Bulls. It's on Kukoc, his second. Both teams are over the limit. And Gatling to the line. Not a good free throw shooter, although because he takes high percentage shots, a very good field goal percentage shooter at 58%. But at the line, only 67%.
And he has problems the other night as far as personal fouls. He fouled out of the game and then was thrown out on his second technical foul. In these closing seconds of the second quarter, you got to feel that every member of the Chicago Bulls coaching staff and players very anxious about what's going on in that Chicago locker room right now with Michael Jordan's back.
Heath Askins, six-year man from Alabama, favorite of Pat Riley, has come on for the first time. 60-38 Chicago, 15 seconds in the half. Kerr setting up against Danilovic. We're down to 5 seconds. Bushler for three. John Bushler from downtown. Askins for three. So at the half, a commanding lead by the Chicago Bulls. Look out. Ron Harper starting to get involved and was held back. Bulls with a 63-38 lead. Bushler guiding Harper away. But as you mentioned, of most significance, the status of Michael Jordan setting up against Tyrone Corbin off a crossover, went to the reverse. And you can see Michael came up hobbling, wincing, hurt his lower back, and had to leave early after scoring 26 points. Departed with 2.5 minutes remaining in the half. Ron Harper ends up colliding with Jeff Malone of the Miami Heat. What's going on here, Matt?
And Natalie dressed.
Oh, yes. Commanding lead on Miami. Here comes Michael Jordan making his way, adjusting his pants. The major concern, the back injury suffered by Jordan late in the first half. Moments ago, Ahmad talked about it with the Bulls team physician, Dr. John Heffron.
All right, thanks, Mark. Doc Heffron, Michael went in, looked like he was in excruciating pain. What seems to be the problem?
Well, he strained his back when he went up for that shot and sort of strained a muscle on the right side of his low back.
Will he be able to continue playing?
Yeah, we expect him to come back and play the second half.
He looked like he was in a lot of pain.
He was hurting, but he's actually done this before, and he's always been able to play with it, so we expect he'll play.
All right, thanks a lot, Doc.
Sure.
All right, back to you, Marv.
All right, about some promising news for the Bulls, but we'll have to see how Michael reacts And with this huge lead, how much playing time Michael Jordan will receive in the second half as we check out the Miller Lite halftime statistics. Miami only 12 of 33 shooting. Chicago at 21 of 39, 54%. And Jordan had a terrific first half, 8 of 13 for 26 points. In the rebounding department, Chicago with the decisive edge and Alonzo Mourning invisible in the first half.
Well, Miami has been outplayed in every area, and Alonzo Mourning is such a big part of whatever the Heat try to do at either end of the floor, and him playing in this particular way is just killing Miami right now. And it's not, you just can't lay it all on Alonzo Mourning because it's a team situation. Now, you also have to give credit to the Chicago Bulls defense. They know that they want to run particular sets and plays to get the ball inside to Alonzo Mourning, and when he gets it, there's a big crowd in there.
Longley opens up defending against Mourning. Longley has 3 fouls. Mourning, he is now 1 of 5 from the field. So the third quarter is underway. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, and Ahmad Rashad from the United Center in Chicago. Jordan and Hopper at the guards with Kuko and Longley on the front line. Shot clock at 3. Longley to the hook shot. Longley with his second field goal, and the Bulls now lead 65-38.
Well, Michael Jordan looks like he's out there just trying to get his legs under him and see how that back is going to react to certain moves that he makes. But so far, not a lot of pep in his step.
Thomas trying to save it, but a very shaky performance by the rookie Kurt Thomas. Now Hopper setting up against Hardaway. Pippen got the step. It counts, and the foul.
Well, the Bulls running their triangle offense, starting things on the left side, but quickly reversing the ball and getting the mismatch inside with Scottie Pippen getting the smaller Rex Chapman on his back. So they can still get post-up situations within the concepts of their particular offense, not just going to straight post-ups as just about every other team in the league does.
And the foul on Chapman, his 4th. Hardaway in on a reach-in. Tony Kukoc called for his 3rd. And Riley going with Hardaway and Chapman in the backcourt. Mourning, Thomas, and Williams up front. The Miami front line dormant in the first half. Thomas 0 for 1, did not score. Williams 0 for 1, did not score. Gatling 1 for 5. Hardaway trying the 3, rebounded by Longley.
A lot of body contact in there on that particular play as Longley had good position and a bit of a collision with Alonzo Mourning, but no foul. Alonzo has 3 starting the second half.
Longley off the ball fake. Mourning's pass picked off. And it gets worse and worse for the Miami Heat.
Well, the Bulls defensively just so alert, so quick. They know what Miami is going to do in almost every situation. Alonzo Mourning now with 5 turnovers.
Here comes the double on Mourning, so he gives it up. Chapman, yes. Rex Chapman with his 5th field goal. He has 11. The Bulls 70 and the Heat 40. A Chicago Bull team that set an NBA record with 72 wins, 72-10. Here's Jordan.
Michael coming down as soon as he hit the floor, winced once again. Looked like he just wanted to try and see what that shot felt like, but no question, Michael is not himself.
Jordan has 28 points. Mourning backing his way. And that is only his 2nd field goal. You look at what the Bulls have been able to accomplish in this remarkable regular season, and their next goal perhaps to match the standard of playoff excellence established by the Philadelphia 76ers as adds to the lead. The Sixers of 1983 won 12 of 13 and roaring to the NBA title. The Bulls' 91 championship team went 15-2.
Ahmad Rashad back in Chicago where the Bulls lead the Miami Heat 74-42 in the third quarter. And Marv, I just got finished talking to Chip Schaefer, who has been around Michael Jordan a long time through a lot of injuries. And I said that when Michael came out, he didn't look like he was really himself. He said, "You know what that means, don't you?" And I said, "What?" He said, "He'll probably score 45. Marv?
All right, Ahmad, yes, Michael remaining on the floor. He has scored 28. He's the high man of the game. He's posting up on Tim Hardaway. Nice ball movement, as always, by the Bulls. Shot clock at 6. Harper, Longley with the rebound. And the Bulls now lead 76-42.
Terrific offensive rebounding preparation by the Chicago Bulls, anticipating that shot and getting all in front of the rim. Nice feed from Hardaway for one of Alonzo Mourning's rare baskets.
It is only his third bucket. 8 points for Mourning. And the Bulls now lead 76-44. 4 minutes gone by in the third. Kukoc played by Thomas. Shot clock at 3. Rare turnover by Chicago. Chapman for 3.
The Miami Heat just trying to get something established in their game to try to get some kind of confidence. They're not going to win this ball game, but try to get ready for the next game.
And game 3 takes place in Miami on Wednesday. Hardaway going all the way. Kukoc got a piece of it. And a foul. Foul committed by Longley. And Mourning and Longley staring at each other.
Well, they have met before. A couple of seasons ago when Alonzo Mourning was with the Charlotte Hornets late in the season, and Luke Longley suspensions at the end of the year at a very key time.
And you hear the noisemakers back behind the Miami basket. Mourning is now 3 of 7 at the line.
Here they are getting tangled up. Alonzo Mourning does a lot of staring down at opponents, as he does there to Luke Longley right away. Referee Mike Mathis right in between them, being sure to keep things under control.
So the Bulls now lead 76-46.
Pat Riley coming with a couple of tough defenders. Keith Askins, who will be guarding Michael Jordan. He wants to see how he can guard him, and also Tyrone Corbin. Well, that looked like the old Michael, kind of an off-balance shot, but moving a little bit better as time wears on. But you still have to wonder a little bit why he's on the floor with a 30-point lead.
Probably because he insists on being out there. Phil Jackson, in other situations where Jordan has been shaken up, has wanted to get him out of the bench, but Michael wants to play. Coming up on 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Shot clock at 3. Kukoc for 3. And last touch by Longley. Now Tony Smith being waved on. He'll check back in.
And we mentioned at the beginning of the ballgame how important it is for Walt Williams to get off to a good start offensively, and Miami looks for him on the perimeter to get his shot going because the rest of his game will improve. But he has goose egg so far.
Yes, the Wizard has not been Wizard-like. 0 for 3 from the field for Williams, who just sat down. Here's Mourning, lost the dribble. Combination of Thomas and Mourning contesting the drive by Longley. Foul on, well, Askins also involved and picks it up.
Well, after Alonzo Mourning's 6th turnover, he does hustle back here to try to get into the play as the Heat trying to take a hard foul on Luke Longley before he can make that layup. They're talking about how it's not all Alonzo Mourning. Yes, he's committing the turnovers, but when the ball goes inside to Alonzo, the offense of Miami is just so stagnant. Everybody just standing still, waiting for him to methodically go through his routine of his footwork to get a shot off. And it's very easy for a quick defensive team like the Chicago Bulls to come down and disrupt.
Luke Longley, who missed a stretch of 9 games due to tendonitis in both knees, got himself involved in early foul trouble today, but has been able to hang in 7 points now for Longley. 5.5 remaining in the third. Hardaway, and rebounded by Pippen. Scottie Pippen spinning his way and called for a traveling violation. He's claiming that he was fouled. He was being held.
And Tim Hardaway and Scottie Pippen have had a couple of confrontations here in this third quarter. Earlier, at the start of it, Tim Hardaway just ran right into Scott Pippen. So Miami trying to come out and establish themselves at least physically.
And Hardaway on the drive is called for the offensive foul.
Well, Tim Hardaway with 9 turnovers in game 1, sensing that he was in trouble trying to get the shot off and wiping off as Michael Jordan had that call all the way from behind, applauding the official.
Harper is fouled. Nice lead thrown by Kukoc. Hardaway with his third. The Miami Heat in a situation where the only thing they can do is cosmetically make the final score look better. They are being blown out by the Bulls with just under 5 minutes remaining in this third quarter. It is a 77-46 Chicago lead.
And Pat Riley, who is prepared for every situation, and this is one of your fears coming into this building, getting behind a great team like the Chicago Bulls and getting blown out because you're afraid your team in this short playoff series is just going to get so demoralized that they're just not going to have any confidence as the series moves on.
But you know, and we know the way Pat can use ball games for motivational purposes. Somewhere down the road, probably a year from now, he will use this game to get his club going. I would think a vastly improved Miami Heat ball club, because this today has reached the point of being an embarrassment. 4.5 remaining in the third quarter. Longley getting position and then hit from behind. Again, it's Hardaway. That's 4 on Hardaway, who has had a very frustrating game. Only 2 of 9 from the field. 8 points coming off the extraordinary first half that he had on Friday night.
Well, Tim Hardaway going for the ball, no doubt.
Oh, look out. Keith Askins with a hard foul on Michael Jordan. We were talking with Jordan prior to the game, and one of the people that he pointed to as a guy he feels will commit the cheap shot foul is Keith Askins.
And that should be a flagrant foul. Keith Askins going straight up, but when Michael able to hang a little bit longer on the way down, realized he couldn't do anything about it, then taking the hard foul, he got away with it. But Michael said he didn't realize how, let's say, over-aggressive Keith Askins got as a player. But Keith has been in the league now 4 or 5 years. He was that way when he came into the league. It's one of the reasons why Pat Riley and all the coaches that have had Keith Askins like him very much. He works very hard at the defensive end. Will take that hard foul as well.
Dennis Rodman getting set to check in, hearing it from the crowd. It's intriguing to me that as Keith Askins, Corbin not able to hit, and the rebound is pounded home by Tony Smith. I think back to the days when Pat Riley was head coach of the New York Knicks, and Keith Askins was a member of the Miami Heat under Kevin Lowry, the coach of the Heat at the time, and there were several incidents with Askins and the Knicks which really irritated Riley. It's all part of here as Pippen hits the 3. And now, as you mentioned, Keith is one of Pat's favorites.
Oh, you love those guys when they're on your team.
Bulls 81-48 over the Heat. Morning. Offensive foul. And that is number 4 on Alonzo Mourning.
Well, the pet move for Alonzo Mourning is coming across the lane, and it's the one that the Bulls want to take away from him. But just his quickness, able to get inside and just pushing off ever so slightly with that left arm. But that's the move that Alonzo Mourning makes all the time. So he just doesn't understand right now why he is not getting the benefit of the doubt on that type of call.
Jordan going at Smith. Michael to the fadeaway. Pippen trying to keep it alive, and a loose ball foul against the Bulls. Dennis Rodman. You notice the new look orange and red swirl hairdo on Dennis, unveiling it for the start of the playoffs.
I've been noticing not only the black shoes the Bulls are wearing for the playoffs, but also the black socks.
And the foul on Rodman, who was entangled with Mourning. That is number 4 on Rodman.
Well, the players on both teams right now have to sense, with the score so lopsided right now, and with some players out on the floor who are going to bang away at each other as Alonzo Mourning fouled from behind.
Look out, Rodman and Mourning having words. Rodman said something to Mourning after the foul was called on Harper, and things could get out of hand now.
And it's up to the players on both teams. It's up to the coaches. The referees are working very hard, and Billy Oakes, the referee, is going to... It looked like he gave the heave-ho for Dennis Rodman.
Well, a technical on Rodman, which is his second automatic rejection. So Dennis ends up playing only 14 minutes. 2 of 4 from the line, just 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and receives a standing ovation as he heads back to the locker room, and here's the toss of the jersey. Looking for a fan, and he will eventually give it up.
He's taking his time.
Late decision by Dennis. Second technical on Rodman, so he is through for the game. And Hardaway hits on the technical foul.
But I was about to say, the players and the coaches have to take it upon themselves. It's their responsibility to come out and play basketball the proper way. And right now, both teams, or a couple of players on both teams, not really concentrating on the job at hand. They're more concerned with who's getting the one-upsmanship as far as the physical play is concerned, as they not only bang away at each other, but also the talking, and that'll get you the technical every time.
Well, the personal foul count here today, Miami hit with 24 and Chicago with 18, so 42 fouls have been called. Alonzo Mourning continues to struggle at the line. He's 4 of 9 at the line. 7 turnovers for Mourning. The Bulls 81 and the Heat 49 with this third quarter coming to a close. Just under 3 minutes remaining. Michael Jordan, despite the man back, playing this entire third quarter. Nice lead thrown by Jordan for Harper. And a timeout is taken. 81-49 Chicago. Will be back at the United Center in a moment. 81-49, a Chicago blowout. Another long night for that man, Alonzo Mourning. And that in the context of free agency in the NBA, and you consider the kind of money that he will receive, I'm sure people are wondering what is going on. But there are not that many quality centers out there.
Well, Alonzo let the Charlotte Hornets know at the beginning of the season that they were not going to be able to come up with enough money, which was somewhere in the neighborhood of $11 to $13 million. and who knows what it will be in the free agent market this coming summer. But there's no question he is in a tremendous bargaining position because he is one of the so-called franchise centers, arguably the 5th or 6th best in the NBA. And I don't think this particular performance today or even the other night is going to affect it one bit. Everybody in this situation, or both teams, or I should say Miami and other teams as well, are looking at the big picture as far as Alonzo Mourning and what he's capable of doing. So far in his career, he has not done anything spectacular, but the potential is certainly there.
And the call being made by Bill Oakes. Offensive foul on Ron Harper. Here's Steve Kerr checking back in. 2:14 left in the third, and the Bulls are up by 30. Ron Harper will sit down, leaving with 4 points and 6 assists. Ron Harper making it back from that sprained ankle injury, missed the last 2 games of the regular season. Did a nice job in the second half against Miami on Friday night. Mourning trying to use his quickness on Longley. And Luke Longley reacting to foul number 5 that has been called on him.
And you rarely see Luke Longley show that kind of emotion on any particular play. Michael Jordan coming over very quickly to tell Luke to stay calm, be quiet, realize what's going on out here and how the officials are watching things. Don't get yourself in any trouble. You know, just talking a little bit more about the center situation, Mark, you know, here's Olajuwon is a kind of a player that can go create on its own, but don't forget he has perimeter players, three-point shooters out on the wing, which make his job a lot easier. It's not, a center can't go out and create. He needs players to help him get the ball, spread the floor, make cuts, and make open shots so that particular center can do something inside.
But the concern of Pat Riley has to be, and it was expressed by several members of the Bulls, they felt that Mourning mentally took himself out of game 1 because he was involved with all the banter prior to the series and was responding to the banter on the court.
Well, in the early part of that game, Alonzo Mourning in the first 3 minutes picked up 2 very cheap fouls, in particular the second one a touch foul, and then it was the parade to the bench back in trying to get it going and never could get into any kind of flow because of foul problems.
Danilovic called for the foul to put Kerr at the line. So the Bulls now lead 82-53. It would take an enormous run by Chicago to attain this, the biggest margin of victory in NBA playoff history, which was 58 points. The Minneapolis Lakers did it against the St. Louis Hawks in March of 1956. The final 133-75, a 58-point wipeout. Right here, it's a 30-point lead for Chicago. Matt, did you enjoy listening to that game on the radio?
You did an excellent job.
What am I, setting you up now? And again, a foul is called. A lot of whistles here tonight. Bill Wennington picking up his third. Wennington replacing Longley. So the Bulls now have Kerr and Jordan in the backcourt with Wennington, Kukoc, and Pippen up front. 47 personals, 3 technicals handed out by this officiating crew. Alonzo Mourning now 7 of 13 from the line. He has 13 points. But these numbers at this point are meaningless. Bulls with an 83-55 advantage. Game 3 of this best of 5 back in Miami on a Wednesday night.
It's so strange to see Pat Riley sitting on a bench, not involved in a game. Rarely does he coach a team that gets blown out to this kind of proportion, but you can tell that the wheels are already turning for Pat, trying to think of what he's going to do for Wednesday night.
Just under 1 minute left in the third quarter. Danilovic changed his mind. Mourning with a 3-point attempt and a foul, holding foul. It is on Kerr. So both clubs over the foul limit. And Sasha Danilovic to the free throw line. Sasha spent the past 3 years playing for Bologna in the Italian League, averaged better than 25 a game.
Chris Gatling returns from Miami.
And here's Chris Gatling checking back in. Alonzo Mourning hears it from the crowd. Well, Matt, they said it was safe to go back into the water. And boy, were they wrong. Tonight at 9, 8 Central, Peter Benchley's The Beast coming to NBC.
I haven't been right since Jaws.
83-57. Yes. The Bulls 85 of the Heat 57. Down to a half minute left. Third quarter. Smith using the screen, pick and roll, backfired. Pippen, beautiful ball fake, yes, and it counts. He'll go to the line. He had Jordan to his left, looked him off, and was able to hit on the drive.
Well, Scottie Pippen looks like the Scottie Pippen of the first part of the season. His body is alive, his hands are quick, and when he's had the ball in fast break situations, he has made the right decision just about every time.
Whittington gets it back to Pippen. And they'll hold for a final shot. Down to 10 seconds. Down to 5. Pippen for 3. And Danilovic called for steps. 1/10 of a second left in the third quarter. They may adjust the clock. They put, let's see, 5/10 back up there. Alonzo Mourning. There's much to ponder about what took place here tonight at the United Center. 5/10 of a second left in the third. Pass for Pippen, broken up. So after 3, it's the Bulls by 30 points. We'll be back after these words from your local station. Well, the Miami Heat running the table with a trio of 19s, which is not good news for Pat Riley and the Heat as they are being drilled by 30. Michael Jordan played the entire third quarter despite the injury to his lower back late in the first half. And we may have seen the last of Michael for tonight. 29 points on 9 of 17 from the field. The one-time Chicago Bull, Stacey King, has checked in for the first time for the Miami Heat. Steve Kerr being done tightly by Tony Smith, who comes up with the steal.
Seeing Michael Jordan lying down in that fashion a few years back when Larry Bird had back problems, in particular during playoff time, having to rest like that when out of the game. And also Dennis Rodman during those championship years in Detroit would have to lie down on his stomach as well, trying to keep that back in a certain loose position.
After the ball was knocked out of his hands, able to get it to Pippen. The Bulls lead by 32. Opening minute, fourth quarter. Here's Corbin. Chicago looking for an offensive foul, but that not the call. Foul on Sally, his second.
Well, Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan taking over this game early on. Both so sharp, so quick today with their bodies very much alive. Scottie Pippen always in the right place at the right time. And the ball movement of Chicago throughout this ball game has been too much. And the defensive philosophy of Miami is to get up, pressure the ball, and that's very difficult to do against quicker players. And that opens up a lot of good passing angles, swinging of the ball, and consequently good shots. And at the other end of the floor, Chicago's defense too quick, too active, too many deflections.
The Bulls 89 and the Heat 59. Sally being guarded by King. These guys faced each other under different circumstances when Stacey King was with the Bulls. Don Sally with the Pistons. 6 points for Ron Harper. 91-59. Danilovic has had a very difficult time. Last touch, though, by Chicago. The biggest margin of victory by the Chicago Bulls in playoff competition. They won a playoff game back in April of '91 against the New York Knicks by 41 points. Very much in range here tonight. Danilovic. And deflected out by Gatling. So Danilovic is now 2 of 6 from the field. As for Miami, the worst playoff loss that they have suffered, April of '92. Of course, not too much playoff history for the Miami Heat, but they were beaten by the Bulls in Game 2 of a series with Chicago, 120-90, a 30-point deficit. That's the worst for Miami. Steve Kerr adding to that Chicago lead.
How many times have we seen the Miami defenders trying to catch up with the open shooters? And it's so hard to look quick with not only black sneakers, but also black socks on. But the Bulls have managed to do it.
You know, I never thought of that. It's an excellent point, Matt. We'll be right back.
Miller, where great taste runs in the family, brings you Miller Moments.
Tonight's moment takes us back to the 1992 playoffs and the Heat's first ever home playoff game. Michael Jordan played the spoiler. Michael with 56 points in the game, the second highest scoring playoff game in Jordan's career. The Bulls won 119-114, taking the series 3-0. In recognition of this moment, the Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. There is Michael heading back to the locker room in his shower slippers already. I guess that's an indication that he will not play anymore. When you see the guy in the shower slippers, that's the telltale sign. We are in extensive garbage time. The Chicago Bulls rolling over the Miami Heat. Steve Kerr picks up the foul. 9.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. Biggest blowout, nice pass from King. And Corbin will go to the line. Pretty backdoor flip by the former Bull Stacey King. The Bulls beat Charlotte in Charlotte back on the 5th of April, 126-92, a 34-point differential. That's the game where they opened up with a 20-0 run. And then the very next game back here in Chicago, the Hornets beat the Bulls. That stopped the Chicago home win streak at 37 straight. They were 37-0, and the Hornets came roaring back after that poor effort at home, down 20-0 to start out. So a 34-point win back early April. Biggest differential of the season coming into tonight. Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad. Ahmad?
All right, Marv, Michael has just been taken into the locker room, and rather than sit out on the court and let the injury get cold, they had just brought him in for precautionary reasons, just to warm him down and just make sure that they take care of that injury. Marv?
All right, Ahmad. It is a 33-point lead for Chicago. Corbin, traveling violation call. Miami's worst loss this season, a 32-point loss in Seattle in mid-January, and they're down here by 33.
Well, a lot of changes for the Heat this year as Pat Riley and his staff, Randy Funn and Dave Wall, pulled off those trades right before the trade deadline, and it really changed this philosophy of this whole team. They became much more of an offensive-minded team, capable of scoring big numbers because Tim Hardaway is such a creator.
Not the case here this evening. That trade, February 22nd, actually 3 trades were made, and since then, Miami has won 17 and lost 11. Gatling on the follow, stripped by Bushler, and deflected out. Last touched by the Heat. And here is James Edwards coming on for the first time, and Tony Kukoc hearing the applause. 8 points for Kukoc. Opened up with a hot hand, but sits down 4 of 12 from the field. That record of 17 and 11 since the enormous triple trade day back on the 22nd of February does not include a win over Chicago, with the Heat fielding only 8 players. Among the new additions, only Tony Smith had reported to the team. That was on February 23rd of a stunning upset. Back comes Kerr, and then pulls it up.
And I think that loss to Miami by Chicago served as a bit of a wake-up call for them. It really annoyed them, mainly because they got beat primarily by the three-point shooting. Pretty much Rex Chapman doing most of the damage, making 9 out of 10 in that game. But when the Chicago Bulls get stung in any fashion, especially with a Michael Jordan and a Scottie Pippen involved, they just get mad and take it out on the next, whatever, 8, 9, 10 opponents.
Gatling off the fake, and then Sally was able to pull it away. And Pat Riley now sending on Danny Shays. Chris Gatling will sit down. Only 5 points, 1 of 5 from the field for Gatling. Danny Shays in his 15th NBA season. Spent last year with Phoenix, where he started 27 games. Ron Harper hears it from the crowd. Replaced by Randy Brown. Good all-around effort for Harper. 6 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Down to 7 on the shot clock. They double up on Danilovic. 3, 2, and yes. He fired one up. And his 24-second violation of that, it did not hit the rim. Earlier today here on NBC, Orlando defeating Detroit. So the Magic up 2-zip. And it was San Antonio over Phoenix, 110-105 for a 2-0 lead with Game 3 on Wednesday. David Robinson, 40 points, 21 rebounds. The Admiral, 13 of 24 from the field. Here's Kerr for 3. And both clubs are having their problems scoring. Charles Barkley, 30 points and 19 rebounds. In the Orlando-Detroit game, Shaquille O'Neal, 29 points. Smith coming up short. And Shea's able to retrieve. Here's Smith. A long time between baskets.
Nobody in Chicago can get a hold of the ball.
And Tyrone Corbin converts. The Bulls 93 and the Heat 62.
You get the feeling both teams want to get to the offensive end as quickly as possible and get in the scorebook.
Miami went over 6 minutes without a field goal. Over that stretch, 1 for 8 with Corbin hitting Edwards. James Edwards. He just checked in moments ago. James Edwards in his 19th NBA season. Sally went down, and a whistle. Foul called. Timeout taken. We'll be right back. An overcast 48-degree day in the windy city of Chicago. Light sprinkle on and off. And indoors here at the United Center as Danilovic hits from the outside. It has been all Chicago. They now lead 95-64. 5.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. Marv Albert, Matt Dukas, and Ahmad Rashad. Is Randy Brown getting the step, rebounded by Danny Shays. The main concern of the Bulls, the injury status of Michael Jordan, who hurt his back late in the second quarter, did play the entire third quarter. Michael finishing up with 29 points, went back to the locker room. That is where he is right now. And the question is what his physical condition will be for Game 3 on Wednesday in Miami. Edwards called for the foul.
And the head and chin of Coach Phil Jackson going right to his chest after that foul by James Edwards. All he would like to see James do in this situation is just play body position, go straight up, try to block shots, play your game. but no need to commit any silly fouls at this point. I've always felt that in the playoff situation, when a team gets blown out, they become very dangerous in the next game. They generally bounce back very well. Well, Miami got beat by 17 in Game 1. They obviously did not bounce back at all in Game 2, so maybe after 2 blowouts, they'll be fine on Wednesday.
That is the M. Gukas theory, the 2 blowout philosophy, and this has been a blowout right from the start. The Bulls led 28-19 after 1. They extended 63-38 at the half. Off the steal, Danilovic has a 2-on-1, a pretty fake, and he's able to take it all the way. Bulls 95 and the Heat 67. Bulls led by 30 after 3 quarters. Miami never in this one. Alonzo Mourning, Tim Hardaway not able to get going. James Edwards there. Very nice move on the baseline fadeaway. That is his second field goal. And Chicago up 97-67. Shays called for steps.
We have seen that a number of times here in this 4th quarter. Anytime there looks like there's going to be any kind of collision, the officials have wisely found a traveling violation.
Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Sally. And back comes Smith. Danilovic. That's a 3. A bit too late for Sasha and the Heat. He now has 15, and the Bulls now lead 97-70.
Pat Riley would like to see Sasha Danilovic find his touch. He could be a big help on Wednesday night to spread the floor some. Alonzo Mourning, who has really struggled.
It counts, and the foul. So John Sally will go to the line. Well, because of our NBA coverage, Dateline Sunday, taking the night off. They'll be back on May the 19th. And tonight, following all new episodes of Mad About You and News Radio, Peter Benchley, the best-selling author of Jaws, is back with The Beast. That is all coming your way next, right here on NBC. Stacey King. And he is fouled by John Sally, so King will go to the line. Well, back in the 2nd quarter, Michael Jordan putting the move on Tyrone Corbin, going baseline. This is where he hurt his lower back. Left the game at this point, about 2.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd quarter. And then, after playing the entire 3rd quarter, left the bench to head back to the locker room. And we have not received any further report on Michael.
And according to the team doctor, John Heffernan, that this has happened to Michael on a number of occasions, so he knows how to deal with it. He came out somewhat gingerly at the start of the 3rd quarter, but warmed up, played all 12 minutes of that 3rd quarter, and finally got himself going. And Michael has just been unbelievably resilient with injuries throughout his career, how he has been able to bounce back where most people might be on the injured list for at least 5 games or more.
Yes, has a remarkable threshold for pain. He's played with some severe injuries and played very well. With a second straight jump shot. It's the Bulls 103, the Heat 71.
And Michael has even been able to play with pretty severe cases of the flu, which is really draining on your stamina.
Corbin. And back comes Bushler. Bill Jackson made the point the other night prior to game number 1 that he was delighted to see 3 of the 4 home teams lose on the first night of the playoffs. Wanted to drive home the point in his opinion. The Bulls can't take anything for granted just because they have the home court advantage throughout the playoffs, and obviously the message has sunk in. A timeout is called. Back in Chicago, the Bulls with a 32-point lead on Miami. The Bulls with 5 wins this season by 30-plus. Michael Jordan, the high man with 29, 16 of the 29 of the 2nd quarter. Scottie Pippen, with an excellent all-around game. 24 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. Steve Kerr with a playoff career-high 13. Sasha Danilovic, who was firing him up from all angles, with 15 to lead Miami. Another enormously disappointing performance by Alonzo Mourning. 14 on 3 of 8 from the field, 8 of 14 from the line, and again he was in foul trouble.
And turnover prone, which has been a problem for Alonzo all season long, especially when the ball goes into the post and he gets double teamed, and it's a big area of his game that needs dramatic improvement, because it shouldn't be that difficult. Once the double team comes, make the easiest pass you can, and that will get his teammates involved and consequently make things easier for him.
Randy Brown hurt a finger, jammed it. Minute and a half remaining in this fourth quarter. Shot clock at 3, 2, 1. Brown plays off. 24-second violation. Chicago shooting 53% for the game on 38 of 72. Miami only 34% shooting. And he Shays with a deep save. So the Bulls now lead 104-73. Tonight's game not quite the immediate blowout that the Bulls were able to pull off in Charlotte. Edwards picks up the foul when they reeled off the first 20 points of the game, but this pretty close to it. You never had the idea that this was a true contest.
Well, Miami just came out offensively just so out of sync, determined to get the ball inside to Alonzo Mourning at the expense of not really looking for anything else. And he had turnover problems, bad shooting problems by Miami, and then their defense suffered as well.
104-75. Down to a half minute remaining. Here's Brown going to the line. So the Bulls are up by 31. And a good portion of this crowd has remained here at the United Center, despite the fact that it has been a blowout for the entire second half. And now the Bulls hearing it from the crowd. Pat Riley referred to the playoff run by Chicago as a coronation. You get the idea that tonight it was a coronation right from the opening tip. The Bulls 106, the Heat 75. Bill Jackson and Pat Riley do not acknowledge each other as they walk past each other. Back in Chicago, it is the worst playoff loss ever for the Miami Heat franchise. A margin of 31, led by Jordan and Pippen. A 106-75 victory for the Chicago Bulls to go 2-up in the best-of-5 series. Following all new episodes of Mad About You and News Radio, Peter Benchley, the best-selling author of Jaws, is back with the Beast. That is next here on NBC. For Matt Dukas and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Marv Albert.